Adidas Spezial is synonymous with revising retro and vintage Adidas trainers and apparel for a modern market. But did you know they also tip their hat to releasing records? Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of the Spezial Run. I'm your host Ronnie Parsons, as you all know. Now today I'm not going to be waffling on about trainers, I'm going to be talking about something completely different, but it is still Spezial related. That is people, places and things. The Spezial record released in collaboration with the collection from 2018. In 2018, Adidas Spezial released an acid house inspired collection which featured the following trainers. The Lower Tree, Munch and Super in two colourways, Pun Stock and Indoor Comp. They then did a second drop which released three more trainers, the Wilsey, ZX452 and the Mallison, which took its name from lifelong Adidas collector Mark Mallison, who sadly died of pancreatic cancer in 2014. To celebrate the 30th anniversary of the second Summer of Love, Spezial released an item which, in my opinion, is my favourite piece of Spezial merchandise. So how did I find out about this record? I wasn't aware of its existence back in 2018, so I wasn't in love with Spezial like I am now. But I was watching an old Sneaker Annex video from 2018 when Danny was reviewing the Munch and Super from the Autumn-Winter 2018 drop. And towards the end of the video, I saw him talking about the little knickknacks that he got along with the trainers. And I saw him pull something out of his bag, and I saw it and I thought, surely not. But it was a Spezial record. It had the big mod trefoil on the back. And I knew as soon as I saw this, being a fan of vinyl and being a fan of Spezial, I have to get this record no matter what. So immediately I went onto Google, tried to find the record, I searched the name of it, and I was expecting to be 300 quid for one. I know what the Adidas resale market is like, and I know what the Adidas Spezial resale market is like. And for something like this that's a limited release or something that's not widely available, I was thinking in my head, yeah, I'm not going to get this for cheap. I went on Discogs. I've used the website before by getting some old vinyl. I bought a load of alternate vinyl off there. And I was shocked and surprised. There was a multitude of different options for the vinyl on there for different prices. But I managed to pick this very vinyl up for $12.99, I believe it was. That was the basic price. I think it might have been like 17 quid including delivery. But $12.99 this cost me, which is quite mental considering most old vinyls are a lot more expensive, and even just stock basic vinyl is more expensive than that. If you go into HMV or any record shop now, you have to pay about 30-40 quid for a normal vinyl release today or within the last 10 years. So for something that is a limited release, that's quite rare or a rarity, and especially the Adidas Spezial world, I was actually quite shocked that I got it for as cheap as I did. So what do you get with the people, places and things Spezial vinyl? So on the cover, it's a great artwork. You've got this horse here. I think this is the R&S Records logo. I'm not too sure about that. In Order to Dance, it's obviously an acid house track, and then it's got the cut-out circle, which a lot of the acid house and a lot of sort of deep cut and white label vinyls do have. And then you spin it round, and there's a massive mod trefoil on the back, which really solidifies the fact that it is a Spezial record. But as you pull it out, again, it's a white label. Sort of vinyl sleeve is probably the word to say. So it is a 12-inch single with in total 4 tracks on. There's 2 of the sort of tracks on both sides, and then there's a remix, a factory floor remix and a Gabe Guernsey remix, whoever that is. Sorry if I've offended you there, Gabe. On side A, which is known as the green side, has got the basic, what you'd normally get on a side A of a vinyl, the text and basically the RPM and different stuff like that. But then on side B, which is known as the blue side, is the mod trefoil, which is similar on the back of the record and many of Spezial products with the back tab and different stuff like that. So all the tracks on the vinyl are written and produced by Mike Chetcuti, who has been involved with Adidas Spezial since its inception, a long-time friend of Gary Aston, and I'm pretty sure was a DJ in the acid house sort of times, and I'm pretty sure I've seen an Instagram post where him and Gary used to DJ in like a local club within Blackburn or Darwin, somewhere like that. It is an acid house track on both sides, and then both sides has a remix to their respective track. I'm not sure if this is an old track that they've decided to release to coincide with the acid house theme of this Spezial collection, or if it was made purposely for the collection because it was used on the soundtrack of the Autumn Winter 18 promotional film that Show Studio made in collaboration with Adidas and Spezial. So that's something I'd have to do my digging with, or if somebody knows, drop it in the comments. So the vinyl is your standard black vinyl. A lot of vinyls these days do come in sort of a different colour, like a translucent red or a translucent blue, to coincide with the theme of that specific vinyl. I think it works with it being black. I feel like if it was a different colour, it would be a bit artsy-fartsy, and that's not what Acid House is about. It's sort of these deep-cut, cheaply made vinyls and DJ Acid House tracks. So I think it really fits the theme that it is black. And as with all vinyl, you can't just let it sit on the shelf. You've obviously got to play it. That is the purpose of having a vinyl, having a song or tracks on vinyl. So when listening to the track, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's an Acid House track, basically. And it did remind me of the TV show Ideal, starring Johnny Vegas, written by Graham Duff. One of my favourite shows of all time. It's got a similar motif and theme to Ideal, set in Salford in Manchester, so it's got that up north connection. And Ideal definitely has a lot of themes and motifs of Acid House and the days of the Hacienda. It's got Hacienda posters and Stone Roses posters that Moz has got in his flat. But it just reminded me of the soundtrack of Ideal, and it just gave me a bit more of a love for it, I must say. And another thing I recently noticed was that the vinyl on the end bit towards the middle label has etchings and words marked into it. So on the green side it says parties by the people for the people, and then on the Mod Trefil side it's got art for art's sake. So it really just hits home with the vintage Acid House feeling, and that homemade vibe is probably the best way to put it. And it's just a perfect little knick-knack and extra piece of Spezial merchandise and history to that collection from back in 2018. So my final thoughts on the people, places and things Spezial vinyl from 2018. It's a good little thing to have in the collection that's not trainer related. A lot of things, when you look at your Adidas collections, a lot of it is trainers. There's a lot of obviously clothes and stuff that come with it, so it's nice to see the posters, and a lot of people have got minibuses and laces and stuff from the vintage stuff back in the 80s and 90s. So to have something that captures the essence of the late 80s, early 90s in the Acid House genre. I'm a big fan of Acid House as it is, so to have a vinyl that's got Spezial on it, it's just a cool thing to have, really. It's like a custom vinyl. And at first I thought it was a custom vinyl until I realised that Spezial released it as a part of that collection. So my question is to you, do you own this record, or would you like to own this record? If so, I'm pretty sure Discogs have still got a few on the website. I know a good mate of mine on Instagram messaged me and says, where'd you get that from? And I said, keep it, mum's the word. I sent him the website and he bought one. So if so, have a look on Discogs. It's people, places and things on there. I'm selling for Discogs now, I don't know if you know. When I did post this on my Instagram, my good friend Daz Freeman sent me a picture and just shocked me once again with his collection. He said he'd got about 100 of these and sent me a picture with a table that was full of these records, so that was certainly interesting to say. There was me thinking I was all Billy Big Bollocks, but Daz once again has beaten me to it. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Spezial Ron. If you want to get your hands on one of these, once again, like I say, Discogs, they're selling them for cheap, so once they're gone, they don't make any more of them. Like I say, I've been the Spezial Ron, and I'll see you at some point in the near future.